What's up, guys? This is Robbie's World of Movies, the show where I like to go over all the latest news in the world of movies, and I like to appreciate films from the past. So today I'm going to be doing something a little bit different. Usually I like to report news in the world of movies, but today I'm going to kind of go on a little bit of a rant on why I think that the DCEU, the DC Extended Universe, is brilliant. I'm going to be coming up with reasons like why I think we should appreciate it. I'm going to come up with reasons that why I think we shouldn't hate on it. And I'm going to be coming up with arguments for the main reasons why people hate on the DCEU. With that being said, let's get started. People hate on the DCEU mostly because they compare it to Marvel. Now, don't get me wrong, I am a huge Marvel fanboy too, but I wouldn't consider myself like most people are, where it's like you either need to love Marvel or hate DC or vice versa. I think honestly, I feel like a little kid on Christmas whose parents are divorced, and the parents are trying to win him over by giving him gifts. Legit, that's what I feel like. Because it's like every movie that they pop out, I'm like, yeah, keep them coming, keep them coming. You know, I love it. But I think that people need to stop comparing the DCEU to Marvel because it's not on the same level that Marvel's at yet. Marvel is up here, like when it comes to like critical success, financial success, and fan ratings and stuff like that. They're right here. DC is like right here. And I feel like the biggest flaw that they had was they were trying with Batman vs Superman and Suicide Squad. The reason why I don't think those were so good and good received by critics was because what Marvel did was there's a ladder to get to this platform. Marvel climbed up the ladder. Slowly but surely, they climbed up the ladder and then they got to where they were. What DC, I felt like, tried to do was they tried to just jump, and didn't even use the ladder. And I feel like that's why Batman vs. Superman and Suicide Squad weren't so well received. But now I feel like what they're doing is they're taking a different approach where they're like, okay, let's just slow down. There's the ladder. Let's climb up the ladder. And then they're going to get to the same platform. So I think that they're not on the same level as Marvel yet. But I still think that their films are great in quality. I mean, I'm going to go over Man of Steel. I think Man of Steel is beautiful. It is such a beautiful film. I mean, just like it's probably one of the only superhero films that's like made me choke up because of the music. Hans Zimmer's music makes it so amazing. The story of it is so amazing. And now most people hate on the fact that Superman killed Zod. Well, guess what? It was either his whole entire world or killing Zod. So you be the choice of that. Which one would you choose? I guarantee you, Zod is gone. And what else do people not like about it? The damage. They're like, oh, there's too much damage. It was all literally just buildings falling all over the place. Not necessarily. Because if it wasn't for those buildings falling all over the place, we would never have Batman versus Superman. Batman would have never had a reason to hate on Superman. So, look at that. Another reason why people don't like it is because of the tornado scene. Literally, that was a beautiful scene. That literally showed that Jonathan Kent, Clark Kent's father, was willing to die to protect his son. And what I mean by protect his son is like he didn't want his secret to get out because he was afraid that the world wasn't ready for it. And he was willing to die for that. And I think that's just such a beautiful scene. And you should look at it with those type of glasses next time. I mean, like, you know what I mean? Those figurative glasses. You got to look at it like that next time. When it comes to Batman vs. Superman, people obviously hate on the Martha scene. If it wasn't for the Martha scene, Batman would have never stopped to realize that Superman is a human too. And he has people that love him, and he loves people. Batman would have never realized that if it wasn't for the Martha scene. One thing that I would criticize on Batman vs. Superman is the fact that I felt like it wasn't placed right. Like, I feel like with Batman vs. Superman, you had all the parts to a Ferrari, and then you kind of just didn't put it together right. But like the scenes were amazing in my opinion. The fight between Batman and Superman is amazing. Another thing I liked about it, and most people don't really kind of sit back and realize this, they had a definitive winner. Batman won that fight, and that's something that I was shocked that they did. I did not know that they would have the balls to have a definitive winner. So, I mean, take what you want with that. I am honestly surprised and shocked that they actually had a definitive winner, and that's another beautiful element of the movie. Another thing that I really liked about Batman vs Superman was like Batman, Ben Affleck as Batman. That was amazing. I could watch that all day. And DC has done so great with their casting. Even though most of us hated the idea of Ben Affleck as Batman, we're probably saying, wow, boy, were we wrong. Unless there's those stupid fans that are like, shh, I said he was good the whole time. Let's face it, you're not fooling yourself. I was one of the ones that hated on him at first. Sue me. But I think he's great now. Best Batman ever. That's why I'm wearing his costume. But anyway, I think that the thing is the only flaw, like the biggest flaw I would give to DC is the fact that they were trying to get to the same level as Marvel, but they were trying to skip the steps to get there. And I think that's why Batman vs. Superman and Suicide Squad weren't so well received by critics. It's like, how do I put this? It's like two football players. I used to be a football player, so I'm going to give you this analogy. My buddy Mitch, one of the greatest football players I ever played with. He's a senior in high school now, and he's a good football player. Now let's say across the country in Florida, there's some guy named Tommy Betty. And Tommy Betty's a junior in college, and he's probably nationally the best out there, and he's probably going to be going pro next year. Now, let's say that there's a college scout saying, like, okay, let's look at Mitch. Let's look at Mitch. Is he good? Yeah, he's good. Is he as good as Tommy Betty right now? Obviously not. Tommy Betty has gone through more experience and stuff like that, and Mitch hasn't gone through that experience yet. And if Mitch tried to jump to Tommy's level, I guarantee you Mitch would have a really hard time because he skipped a bunch of steps along the way. I feel like that's what the DCEU did with against the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And guys, here's the thing. We don't need to hate on either or. Why can't we just love both of them? Why can't we feel like that spoiled kid on Christmas whose divorced parents are trying to give him everything? Because that's what I feel like. And honestly, I am so happy. I think that's what makes me appreciate the DCEU more, is the fact that I'm not comparing it to Marvel. I'm looking at it as its own thing. Another thing that really bugs me when people hate on DC is the fact that they're like, well, Batman kills and Superman kills. Okay, what about the Avengers? You seen Civil War? They killed a ton of people in that movie. Anybody gonna say anything? Oh, there's so much damage done in DC. Like, there's so many casualties. What about the Avengers? Battle of New York, Battle of Sokovia. You gonna say anything about that? Why are you hating on DC? Because they do something, and Marvel is literally doing the exact same thing, and no one's even noticing it at all. I mean, come on, guys. Really? I mean, we can't just Batman doesn't kill. That's probably the biggest one, is Batman kills in this new DCEU. It's a different Batman. Literally, there are so many things about Batman. He didn't kill in the comics. There are comics where Batman has killed. And honestly, this is just one of the versions of Batman that kills. And I still think it's a great Batman. So I just don't get why people are kind of looking at the things that Marvel does, kind of just blindly looking at it and just kind of going, and then when they see DC doing it, they're like, oh, they're doing it, they're doing this wrong, they're doing this wrong. Guess what? Take down the hand. They're doing the same thing over there, and they're doing great. Why are you complaining about them doing it? That's just not fair. Another thing people are really worried about is the Justice League making $120 million opening weekend. That's great numbers. That's better than any DCEU film so far. They should be happy with those numbers. The fans should be happy with those numbers because that's the best that they've done so far. You can't keep comparing it to Star Wars or the Avengers because you're going to be disappointed every time. It's like if a movie comes out called Billy Bob Looks for Gold. Terrible title. Anyway, Billy Bob Looks for Gold comes out, and I go see it, and I enjoy the film. I like it, and it's a good film. And then one of my buddies asks me, is it as good as The Godfather? No, it's not as good as The Godfather. And if you're going to compare it to The Godfather, you're going to be disappointed, my friend. So we need to stop comparing things to we need to stop comparing the DCU to like things like Marvel and all these other successful things, because you're going to be disappointed most of the time. So that's basically my little spiel on why I think that the DCEU is just so brilliant. I think that, honestly, give it 5 years and you're going to look back on this video and you're going to be like, boy, was he right. Because DC is going to be on the same level as Marvel eventually. They're just not there yet. but I feel like what they've released so far has been pretty damn good. So that's my opinion on why I think that the DCEU is brilliant. Let me know what you guys think. Do you think that the DCEU is brilliant, or do you think it's not that good? Or, I mean, that's the beautiful thing about art. It's how you interpret it. So if you don't like DC, that's fine. And I think that's great. I mean, obviously, if you have good reasons. I just don't want it to be like a thing where you don't want to be like it. It should not be that you're looking at Marvel and just because you like Marvel, you hate DC. No. Be that spoiled kid on Christmas who gets presents from two parents. Literally, just sit back, enjoy the movie, and just take whatever comes towards you. That's the way you got to look at it. And that's the way I'm looking at it. And I'll tell you what, ever since I started looking at it that way, I've grown to appreciate the DCU so much more. Well, that'll do it for today, guys. Thank you so much for joining Robbie's World of Movies. Make sure to hit that subscribe button or the like button or share this video or whatever you want to do with it. Yeah, thank you so much for joining. It's truly a blessing and an honor that you would make me a part of your day. And until next time, guys, see ya.